Okey-doke. All set.
Okay, everyone. Hello, welcome to the June 12th Norwalk Public Library Board of Directors meeting. In attendance, we have Geraldo Williams, Sherelle Harris, Patsy Brescia, Mary Mann, Alex Knopp, and Moyna Noor. Can I get a motion to accept the May meeting minutes? Mary moves. Any discussion or edits to that? Okay, if not, can I get a second to that?
A second.
Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So so I'd like to, are anyone from the public?
No public.
Okay. So first on my agenda is the charter revision update. So I did send an email just shortly before this meeting with the language that has been proposed by the charter revision. As you know, we sent a letter to the Charter Revision Committee with our suggested language on 3 items. 2 of them regarding the budget and there was one other thing they said were part of the ordinance, but the main topic was the appointment of the library director. And so at the May 15th meeting, they voted to include the library board in a consultative matter, in a consultative way. And if you see my email, the language that they have included in their draft is that the library director will be appointed by the mayor following consultation with the public library board and confirmation by the common council. The mayor is responsible for appointing the library director following consultation with the public library board, subject to confirmation by the common council, and to serve as specified by this charter or ordinance and until a successor is duly appointed and qualified to serve, unless otherwise terminated in accordance with this charter or as otherwise set forth in law. So that is the language that is included in their draft charter that they are proposing to be voted upon by the city council on July 8th. I think they're going to have a public hearing before that time for the common council. Sorry. So I just have a couple of comments on that. I realize and I understand that this does not go as far as some of us would like. It does not follow the example of many localities, municipal libraries in the state of Connecticut. And it doesn't even follow the language from our letter, which was highly specific around 3 recommendations from the board. It does, however, put us back in the appointment process. It does state clearly that the library board is now a part of the appointment process of the library director. In the previous charter, we had no mention at all. So I think that while it's not as far as some of us would like, it is important. It is an important change, and that yeah, and I think it's an important change. Was there any discussion or comments that anyone would like to make?
Yeah, I don't think it goes nearly far enough. I think it's meaningless with consultation, and so I think it's a big disappointment, and I'm disappointed at how the former and current charter revision commissions have ignored our requests.
I think, I hear you, Alex. But I do think we're at least kind of back to a baseline of where we were, where there is, it is similar to what was the common practice prior to, when there was no language in the charter. So,
I have stated my position. I'm not going to argue.
okay, I just,
Yeah, it's meaningless.
okay. Anyone else? Okay, so the next item is a strategic planning. So Sherelle has been in touch, and I've been in touch with Sharon Connors over at purchasing, and about a strategic plan, funding a strategic plan and a building plan. And she's let us know that that under the and we said that the approximate budget for this is about $15,000. And she said that under the purchasing threshold, it is well under the purchasing threshold to have purchasing facilitate an open public RFP process. And she has reached out to Ellen Paul, who is the Connecticut, a colleague, a purchasing colleague at the Connecticut Library Consortium. And that we should be in touch with her, and that she would be a wealth of resource for strategic planning for libraries in Connecticut. So our next step, with Sherelle, we're going to be reaching out to Ellen Paul. I think, Sherelle, if you have anything to add, I'll just say that our goal, I think, is to start this process in September, so that over the summer we reach out to her and get this process, in line to start in September. Sherelle, do you have anything you want to add, or it sounds like Ellen.
I actually reached out to her before I saw Sharon's email, but not, it was about something else. So I am happy to circle back. She seems like a very nice person to work with.
Are we talking about doing a survey again, sort of prior to this or along with it?
I think we should, only because people are using libraries a little differently than COVID, and it's been like, what, 6 years?
Mhm.
So my recommendation would be that we do surveys.
It also has another advantage, is to get the concept in front of people and get people going to support it again. So I can't remember how we composed the survey the last time. Do you remember?
I know the first time there were focus groups. There were some focus groups. We can do online, and we can do focus groups as well.
Yeah, we had paper copies at the library.
Copies, yeah.
We distributed copies at, I think, some senior centers and community centers.
And online too, right?
Yeah, if I recall, there was
Yes.
an online survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's also paper surveys.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we had a great turnout.
We did.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
recall. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
how-
a good idea to make
yeah.
a survey a part of the strategic planning process. Step one. Okay. That's my report.
Okay, I will share screen. I'm just going to give some updates on the main library's parking. Let's see if I can. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
See it, but it's chopped up. It's not.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on, because I'm seeing something totally different. Okay, let me scroll to the top. Okay, what you should see is, board reports.
Yes.
You see it? Thank you for saying, because I
Mhm.
can't see you guys.
Yeah, I had printed it out, so,
Okay,
can
all right.
you make it bigger? The screen?
Let's see. Let's see, share participants video. Let me see if I can make the view a little bigger. It's 175.
Mhm.
Does that help at all or no?
I mean, it's fine for me. I don't know for others.
Patsy, does that help at all?
Somehow I'm out of all video right now.
Oh, okay. Everybody else, Alex, can you see? Okay, Janie, Mary?
I've looked at the printout.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't see anything
yeah.
to look at, so.
Okay, doke. So basically, just to recap, that we met back in August, of last
Mhm.
year with the parking authority. It was Sirach, he's from Laz Parking, and Brian Lutz, from the Norwalk Parking Authority. It was Moina, Janie, and me. And basically, we just did a walkthrough of all of the lots. Um, just to see how we can combine them so that they're just not, they're so separate right now. And this just gives you an idea that the library parking lot on Mott Avenue, even though it's a, Levin Belden, the entrance is on Mott, there's 37 spaces. At 3 Belden, there's 11 spaces. We're on one side of an island, and then the parking for that, the tenants in that building is on the other side. And then the Eagles lot, we have the 30 spaces. And then, Dick Brescher, when he was with, I believe, the parking authority, he secured spaces in the Yankee Doodle garage for staff to park. And just as a caveat, we agreed during the last board meeting that the staff, can park in the Eagles lot at night, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so that they don't have to walk to the Yankee Doodle building at night. But other than that, they are to park in the Eagles lot. So we had spoken before, there was some back and forth with the staging for the Wall Street, improvement materials. Initially, they were going to put the staging materials in the 3 Belden, but we wanted to remove the fence. So then they were gonna go into Eagles, but they've settled in the old courthouse. So that means we can have the 30 spaces back. And I gave you guys the legal information as to how we,
Still on hold.
pardon? Oh, sorry, well, how we were able to get it. So we will have the 30 spaces at the Eagles lot for the next year.
1 year.
Let's see, let me move down. A lot of this stuff is. So this is what our lots look like before. And so this is the fence we're looking to have removed, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. That's the Eagles lot. So we're looking to have library visitor parking signs put in the Eagles lot as well. Herb Sanford, the treasurer, said it would be okay. These are some areas, Ralph Bloom actually talked about that for nearly a year, that we needed directional signage in, the 3 Belden lot, and the hedges actually really they did trim them, but I think they need to be trimmed more because you can't see, if somebody's walking on that sidewalk, you really can't see them.
I think they're very dangerous.
Yeah. And they did trim them, and I'll show you, but I still think they need to be trimmed down a little more because you can't see the person until you're ready to exit, which can create a dangerous situation. I'm happy to say that this pole has been removed.
Yay.
Good.
Exactly. And so I took some pictures, when I'm driving in or out to show, so this person is the first 2 pictures. The person is going out of the entrance. So we still need the directional signage there. And then it's the same with this picture too. I didn't happen to get a picture on the other side. That's the one I usually see more often, is people trying to come in the exit area. This is the fence that we like to have removed and have the egress addressed so that people can just walk through here to get to the main library north entrance rather than having to walk around the 3 Belden building. And so we do have the parking signs, but the parking signs are in the Mott Avenue entrance and exit. And I'm sorry, these are some directional signs that we have. And so this is, what it looks like, which is nice that people now know where the extra parking is. Here, this one, I'm sorry, the picture's not clear, but it says additional parking. But then when you go out, you can't find where the additional parking is. So I did ask them if they could put a sign on the Eagles fence that says library parking. So they did do that. It's paid for, so we're just waiting for them to put it on the fence. And this is the fence here. So just so people know that it's not La La Land, that this is where the additional parking is. So we look very nice. I think we went over this before. So now, the arrows, it was very dilapidated, the peeling, but now it's very clear, very bright. So people have the directional arrows. And they also restriped the 3 Belden lot. And this is where that leaning pole was. So that's been removed, which is,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just so happy it was removed. So they did have someone out. As you can see, they did trim the bushes, but I still think they need to be trimmed more because again, I've seen where people are walking and you can't really see, if you're in the lot, you can't see the people walking on the sidewalk until you get to the exit. And then if somebody's riding a bike, it could be fatal. So, but at least it's a start. They did trim. Hopefully they can trim it down a little bit more. So as far as the fence removal, Neil Rennie from Guardian, our building management team or company, he did secure a proposal for the fence removal. I spoke to him today and he should have a quote for the egress and the rest of the project by tomorrow, he said.
Mhm.
Terrell, did he mention anything? There's a drainage adjustment that needs to be done, because I've been working on that for 10 years or more. When that comes down, the grade is not even
Yeah, that's what
between.
they're gonna look at as far as
Okay.
the egress, but I'll mention the drainage, so thanks for bringing
Yeah,
that.
just so, well, yeah, I'm hoping it's not a surprise is my concern.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, this is all, we have budgeted for all of this in this year's budget, right?
This was the money that we rolled over from the last year's budget to this year's budget to pay for it.
Okay, good.
And he's aware that, we need to spend the money or we need to have this, done or in process, before June 30th.
Cheryl, did anybody ever inquire whether Department of Public Works could do this work?
I think they did. So there was some back and forth initially, whether it was parking authority, Public Works name did come up, but somehow it settled on, Guardian is doing it.
Doesn't seem
I know.
appropriate, I might say, for a Guardian kind of, maintenance of the infrastructure. I don't see why either Parking Authority or Public Works wouldn't do this as a city project.
I understand. Okay, so just a to-do list is that we need to, um, place the sign here for library parking and, have some signage within the Eagles lot that lets people know that this is where the library parking is. And it's on the right side. Once you enter here, the parking is on the right side.
And that's gonna be marked, you said, right?
That's what, yeah. So I showed them what we have in the 3 building and her like that signage. So we should, now that the contract and all that information is settled with the number of spaces, excuse me, the number of spaces that we have, they are ready to move forward. I did meet briefly with Jim Travers about taking over the lot. I know Alex, that's been something that Alex has been pushing for quite some time. And he did say, I don't know if I should say this online, but anyway, they're thinking about it. I know a lot of the things that they're doing are money making. And so basically, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I took pictures of people who are staying in the lot overnight. There's about 7 cars that park there overnight. So they proposed, that people can stay for 3 hours. Our supervisors, recommended 4 hours, just because like if people are going to programs and then they can, stay the additional another 3 hours. The 3 hours limit is within the city's, that's what they do. So I don't know that we should argue if they're going to take over and just let everything be consistent with the rest of the city, for a 3-hour parking limit. If people are over that limit, then they can charge them. And I think, so that's it for the parking lot so far. Does anyone have any questions? Nope. Okay, so I'll move on.
Thanks
to-
for staying on top of it though, Sherelle. It's, we're making progress slowly but surely, for sure.
It's a full-time job. So, but, we are seeing a little
Good
improvement.
parking is key, so
Yeah.
that.
So capital projects, let's see. So I included, what was approved for next fiscal year, which are the main library 88 door handles, the library van, Norwalk newspaper digitization, and the laptop vending machines. And then, let's see, from the previous year, the security cameras for both libraries. Let's see, we put in the ADA compliant door handles. That was not approved, but the sliding doors were approved, and we've got many compliments on the sliding doors. So that was approved, and then we're still working on the Sono parking lot. The security cameras were installed, not cameras, I'm sorry, the new alarm system was installed in Sono. The previous year it was installed at Maine. We have the security cameras, which was, recently done. So basically, they've installed the cameras at both buildings, but they have not yet been turned on. My recommendation is that the cameras, go to the police station. So that way, if we have an issue, they can see it right there and respond. And the van, finally, I don't know, I'm gonna reduce because it looks like it's bleeding off the screen. Give me 1 second. Can everybody still see?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can just make it a little bigger. There we go. So the van will be a high roof van. Unfortunately, we were hoping that it would be all-wheel drive, but these are only rear-wheel drive. But it's just a basic van, and all we're looking for now, is just a little ramp. It won't be attached to the van, but something if the guys need to, pull something heavy in, there's a little ramp that can sit. It'll be inside of the van whenever they need it. So the total price came to 50,000, roughly 51,000, and that'll leave money for us to also put the logo on the van. And this was just you had already seen this before, but this was just the security, for both libraries. The cameras.
Do we have a date for installation for that or?
They've installed, they just haven't turned it on yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
that's-
they've installed, and all of them, I know everybody's putting cameras inside now. I don't feel comfortable having the cameras like on patrons and that sort of thing, but everything is on the exterior. The only interior camera is, it's on level 2R where I am. It's not on anybody, it's just like the hallway, but that, you guys had suggested that a while ago when I had all the theft, in my office. And I believe, let's see. So, I emailed Neil and Bill, who you guys met before. Bill is the, I can never say his last name, so I'm not gonna try. He's the, ADA,
William
and
Natak.
so, pardon?
It's William Natak or something like that.
I can spell it, it's HNATUK.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Neil and they put together the quote, and so I emailed them just to find out when we can get started, with the doorknobs. And so to the right here is what we currently have, and to the left is what we currently have, and on the right is what we want. And that's on the right is what we currently have at Sono. That was done when we renovated from 2004 to 2006. And so very excited. The registrar of voters reached out about having the main library as a polling location again. And it looks like everybody, well, people who responded said, good idea. But I don't know, Moina, if I put it as an action item, I believe, do you think we need to vote on it?
I mean, I think sure, I think we can vote on it, or we have already, so, but for the record, we can vote to approve having it as a polling location again. But I'd be curious, what happened to, are they not using Jefferson School anymore, or?
No, from what I understood, people really liked having the library as a polling site. And I guess they changed it to Jefferson because they anticipated a larger crowd, but for that, I think it was the mayoral, no, I'm sorry, the presidential election. I'm not sure that they got that crowd, but apparently people have suggested that they really liked using the library as a polling place.
And Jefferson
Me,
is just so inconvenient for seniors. There's no place to park nearby. It's quite a long hike. Got to cross over a street.
Mhm.
I never thought that was going to work out, so I'm glad they've
yeah.
changed their minds.
But once again, I had pointed out the signing was terrible and also the police coverage, I don't think was adequate. You know, it's such a congested area.
Mhm.
Policemen really need to be out there dealing with traffic, not just standing, you know?
For sure.
So,
We did have
and
one gentleman he was phenomenal, but I do, point well taken. So
yeah,
I've spoken with Diana Palladino, who is in the registrar of voters office. So I made, all of those things known. Diana said her forte is signage. So she said, it'll probably be next year, it'll be too many signs, or this year rather, too many signs.
no, I don't think you could have too many to tell people where to go.
There we go, yeah. And I explained to her that we need like a sandwich board or something at the Mott Avenue entrance because voting starts at 6 and that entrance isn't open. And so she was speaking with the chief of police too. I gave her our concerns about the police presence. So before, I would say maybe around in August or July, I hope to speak with the both of them just to go over it and then, talk to Diana about the signage and what she has. And will be a polling site for the municipal primary on September 9th and then the municipal election on November 4th.
That's great. Are we having, I mean, I think it's great, and plus we have all this parking, so it's even better, and it's in a nice flat location, very easy for people with strollers and seniors. And but so I just want to make sure, are we having any problems with our elevator right now, or is the elevator functioning
The
properly?
elevator is functioning, but it's in the budget, the elevator and the roof, the elevator at the main library and the roofs at both libraries are in Guardian's budget as for being replaced. Um, I guess it would behoove us, to wait until after the election. It may take that long anyway for, Neil to get everything, together. So
Okay, I mean, it's just as long as they're functioning, I think that, because I think there was some issues.
there were a lot of issues, but
Issues.
they are functioning. Yeah. Okay, and then the other thing that I have is the report from Simplify CT tax preparer Mark Spivak. He said between the two libraries, they filed roughly 1,800 returns, resulting in almost 3 million in refunds. He did mention that it was 15% than the prior season, but likely due to the fact that we were closed 2 days for a snowstorm. But he did say of all the libraries, we are the third counseling site in Connecticut.
Right.
That is great. Is does the city of Norwalk also provide some tax assistance? I think I saw somewhere. I was just wondering if we're the only game in town, or are there other places
So
too?
they are all over. So they also do this at the different libraries like Darien, different libraries, Fairfield, and at City Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely we're not the only game in town. I just think it's so wonderful that they do it free of charge. So that people,
Yeah.
especially people, low income, they're not giving half of their tax return back to the people, the companies that do them. So it's a wonderful service. Okay, and that's the end of my report.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Well, are we gonna do old business?
Oh, any old business?
I just
Sorry.
wanted to show like our update, our progress for the furniture, the reading room
Oh,
furniture,
okay, yeah, of course.
and I'll be quick. Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So this is the layout. Let me just see if I can move this, because this thing is in my way. And this is the furniture and how it will look in the reading room. Where there'll be, a high back, couch, a curved couch. We went with the high back, for privacy. And then there'll be, I forget what they call it, like a poof, that will act as like a, like a little table people want to set things on. This is the fabric up close. So we chose the Mayor fabric, and then we also chose, I'm sorry, in indigo. So this has a bit of a design, and then the other is midnight, just plain. Then we chose two tables, that people can move around, either the chairs or the couch. Is what they call a laptop table. These are the tables that would go between the chairs. And so we have the darker, we're gonna go with two, we have the darker, and then we have a bamboo, which is more, it's more of a neutral color. It shows up a little yellow here, but it's really more of a neutral color. The tables in the back, so we went with two, they seat 4 people on each side. The color that we chose was the Linnea Mocha. And the electricity that will be in the table, it's double-sided. It will go in the middle of the table as opposed to the sides, so that, it's not taking up a lot of space where people need to lay their things out. So it'll go in the middle and it'll be double-sided. They just gave an option, which I like that too. Cindy liked the tabletop, so we went with that. But they have the option too, where you can put them under the table. And then the chairs, these are the chairs that will go at the table, and we went with the black chair since the furniture, is dark, and it would give a nice contrast to the Linnea Mocha. And so you can see it here against, well, this one is a little bit lighter. But the chairs are really nice. They sent one to us as an example, and it's as a sample, and they're really nice. I'm sorry, these were just the color choices. And we talked to Bill, everything is ADA compliant. And that's it. And the committee was Patsy, Moina, Janie, Cindy, and me. So thank you all for those meetings and the meeting of the minds. And I think we came up with something really nice that our patrons will really enjoy.
do you have a final price?
I do. Let's see.
yeah, this is gonna be a really big change and improvement. I
For
think
sure.
like so many people have talked about comfortable seating and
Mhm.
it'll give it that kind of living room feel and place where people can really kind of
And
both
everything is
work
on
at a
casters.
table and both sit down and read for a while. And it's all on casters.
On casters, yeah.
So
So when they have programs in that area, we can easily move them. So, and then if people, want to move things around, they can move things around too. But the final price is 31, well, roughly 32,000.
And we have 20 in the budget.
We have 20 in the budget.
Yeah. And I'm proposing that the foundation, we ask the foundation to pick up the difference between the budget and the actual cost.
it's on the agenda for the
Yeah.
foundation
Yes.
meeting. And
Mhm.
Betsy, you've been saying all along that 20 was never going to be enough for
That'd be
No.
enough.
for
Yeah.
decent furniture.
But not for
That's
quality
nice.
furniture.
Well, that's what I was saying, quality furniture.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the furniture that we have in Sono for the most part is really good, but we've had some issues with some things falling apart that had to be fixed. So, this company is definitely known, for quality furniture, and I don't think we'll have that problem.
That's a bigger space and yeah.
So that is, I can't get out of this. I'm trying to get back to Zoom. There we are. So that's it for me in my report.
Okay. So motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Mary, Patsy moves, Mary seconds. We'll see you over at the foundation meeting, everyone. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.